So it's complaining about our filter chain, or rather security filter chain. So let's just complete this so that we just complete it once and just ensure that we have done everything. So in this authentication filter, let's go to this authentication filter and complete it. Yeah, so here we go. We just say the JWT filter. This one needs to be a component for it to be discoverable by Spring. And then outside there, we'll say this one will extend once a request filter. So it means for every request, we'll just do it once. We'll just filter it once. Then here, a couple of items that we need to define is first, we need a private final handle exception resolver. This one will help us to handle exception. We say handle exception resolver, and then we'll say private final JWT service, which this one now will define also. This one will have our class within our service that will do that, and then that will be this one. You can literally do it later on to just help us complete our service later on. So under JWT authorization, you can do this service later, and that will be able to do stuff like extract tokens and stuff like that. So first, let's do away with this, and then you can just continue. In here, we'll need a constructor of this. So we just add a constructor, and then we continue. Then here we'll just say under this, you can just say so we first want to override a method that's called do filter. So we just say protected void do filter internal, and then this one will have a number of so it will have a number of items, but then before that we can just say final string. Let's start from here, auth header, and then that will have is equals to, now there's something called request, which will come from parameters that we'll do within this constructor. So this will have first null, a number of null parameters. First is http servlet request. That's what I want, servlet request, and then I'll just say this is the request. I'll call it request, and then I'll do the same for the second one. Will be http servlet response. This one I'll just call it response, and then finally we'll have filter chain, what we are using to chain our filter. I'll just say filter chain, then filter chain, I'll just say here filter chain. That's all. And then now here we'll just use that request of ours and say dot get header. So in here we can literally get the header called authorization in all the requests, and then so that is the auth header, and then we continue. So after I get the header, what do we need to do with the header? So first one is if the auth header dot, or rather is equals to null, or auth header dot starts with bearer. This will be our, so let's say this one starts with bearer and a space, but not equal to, so we need to negate it and say if auth header is null either, or this one does not start with bearer, then it means we don't have any token attached to it. So we just say filter chain dot do filter, and then inside do filter we just say request and response. Yeah, so request and response, and then out of here we'll just return. That's the first part. Why is this one complaining? Oh, we need to add an exception on the method, so you can just add exception, no worries, that's okay. So it will throw an servlet exception, that's okay. Then return this, and then we continue now. So here we can now say try, then final string. Let's extract our JWT token if we have a header, authorization header, and it had the bearer token. So we can just say the substring up to starting from 7 going ahead. So it will just skip all this and then pick the token after this. So in there we'll just pick that token and then say final string user email is equals to JWT service that extract. So we will have a function of extract service JWT service dot extract something. So this JWT will have a function to extract email. So it's high time for us now to create this service. So you can just create a new service called JWT service, which you can put out all our utility items there. So you can just say JWT service, and then we'll put out all our utilities in here. So this one, because it's a service, needs to be we need to say it's a component or a service. So you can just say this is a service, and then you come here and say this service. So there's a number of items, but the function that I need is to extract username. So I just say I create this one function that I'll call it extract username. So I just say public, it will return for me a string, and then I say extract username. Then this one, it will pick a string. It will pick a string of token, and then inside that token it will return something here that I'll call extract claim, so I'm just trying to pick it from the token, and then I'll just say token dot claims dot get subject. Yes, and then outside here I'll just do an override of, I'll do a function called public to return a type of T, and I'll call it extract claims. This will assist me to get claims from the token and from the encoded JWT. So we just say function, and then I pick the claims, and then I'll just say T, then this one will claims resolver. This one exactly needs to be how it is, like the exact way. Java util function, I think that's the correct one if I'm not wrong. We just see if it complains, and then say final claim is equals to extract claims from token, right? And then finally we return claims, which is not equal to null. So if claims is not equal to null, then I'll return, if it's not equal to null, I'll say return claim resolver dot apply claims. Otherwise I'll return null, not token found, stuff like that. So in here, I'll need to say T extract token string token, then I have the string and function and the claims resolver, and then that's it, and then I'll extract. Yeah, perfect. So this one looks good. However, this one complains except to arguments but found extract. So this one I'll use extract all claims, and then I'll need also to do the same for this. So I'll just need to create another class for that. So I'll just say private claim. So you can find this entire class after this tutorial, because I'll post it in the link for our use. So I'll just say token, a string token is equals to, I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna try to return JWTs. Yeah, and then this one is pass security, pass builder. Then in the builder I want to set signing key. So this one I'll get signing key. Which basically that one I'll get from the key that I had, the base 64 secret key that I had on my. So before this I can just go down here and say, maybe let me put it here, and I just say public, the key is what I want. Then I say, so this key comes from, you can import this class from Spring Security. Then I can just say key sign in key. This one, remember we had it on our properties file. Then this one I'll just say byte, return as bytes. I'll say key byte is equals to decode as dot base 64. That's what I want to use, dot decode this. So I'll decode the secret key. But remember, this secret key we haven't really brought it from the property file, but we'll bring it in a second. So here I'll return keys dot hmark key 4 key byte. So just rather decrypt it. So this secret key, we need to have it somewhere here. So we need to like call this secret key from our config. So we just say public string secret key, or rather I'll just paste because I have it. So secret key, but this one we should pick the value from, so we just use that value to pick it from our config file. And so this is how you pick it. You just say that $, then curly braces, and then inside our JWT we called it under security. Yeah, you remember this one we said security, and then JWT, then security key. So even you can pick that, and then you come here and say security dot JWT dot secret key. So that one should be able to give you this secret key here, and then that one is used within our get sign in. And then now on this get sign in key is what now we will use in here to get the sign-in key. So let's go back to our sign-in key. So we just say this one dot get sign-in key as a function, and then once you're done from that, we'll just say set allowed clock skew seconds to 30 seconds. Yeah, and then we'll just say dot build. So this is just configuration to set up everything. So pass claim, so it should be dot pass claim JWT. Then I'll have a token there. Then get body. So this one will return our JWTs. This one will now extract all the claims. Then remember we had that try, so here you need to say catch. Then we can catch either the expired JWT exception, to just say this is whatever your token has expired, blah blah blah. This one you can pick it as that and say return. And remember, we have a global exception handler, so we can configure the same over there. And then you can say another one, catch JWT exception. In case you're having an exception on JWT, then that one you can say return null. Perfect. So that's it. And you can decide even to do something for this exception before you return it, but that's okay. So after that, we have now completed our extract. Let's see where we are using it. So extract token, stuff like that. So let's see where we were extracting username. We have our issue here, extract username. So on extract username, we need to claims.get subject. Okay. So we had here dot, but it's supposed to be a function, so it's dot get claims, and then that's it. So up to there we're okay. So let's go back and see what so here we were on JWT service on our server. So this one you need to import it. So this is what I'll do. I'll just come here and define it. I'll just say JWT service, JWT service is equals to that, and then I'll import it. I'll add that constructor, and then after that I'll just say this one dot service dot. I'm supposed to get something from here. Sorry, just say dot get, is it extract username? Yeah, extract username. So let's continue from this filter and see now what we have. So from username, and then I'll pass it this JWT so that it gets into our middleware and then do the stuff to get me the email. After that, I'll have now the authentication from Spring Security. I'll just say authentication is equals to security. I'll just say security context holder to hold my current security.get context.get authentication. So that will get the current authentication. I have it inside the authentication object, and then using now that object I can continue. So I'll say if the user email that I've picked from my JWT is token valid, I'll just check out this, and then on my JWT service I need to create this. So if I go to this email inside my extract username here where I'm getting my email, extract username, and then I'm extracting an email. So I need one more function here that will return either true or false. So I'll say is token valid. So this one will pick string token, the token that I have, and then there's user details, which will be the user details from Spring Security, and then in there I'll just say final string username is equals to extract username. Then from this I'll extract from token. That's it. Then I'll return. So if username is not equal to null, and username dot equals to the user detail that you're getting from security dot get username. If it's the same, this is token valid, and if is token valid dot token. So let's analyze this. The token is that way. Yeah. So let's see what we're doing here. So we are checking if the token is valid, and then we are saying first extract the username from the token, and then compare this username if it's not null first, and also it should not be null, and then secondly it should be equal to the username that's there on our JWT, on our Spring security object. That's the user details object, and then it should also not have expired. This is not valid, but token expired. Yes. So you need also to check if his token is expired is not equal to true, and that means we need to create something here to check if token is expired. So in here I'll just say private boolean is token expired, and then in here I'll just pick the token and then go and check. So I'll just say date, which I'll call expiration date equals to extract expiration, which is another function that will create easily, and then we just put the token here. So this one should be date from Java util. And then now here extract expiration date. Also we need to do that from our Spring from our service. So you just say private, and it should return a date, then extract expiration, and then here it will accept a string of token, and then having this, now it will return extract claim. From our extract claim function, it will take our token, and then claims dot, it will get expiration. So it's just get expiration from now our present function. It will now get expiration. So inject this function to just extract only this expiration, and then this one is what now we'll use here to get the expiration. So once we have this, we can now continue to return our token if it's expired. So we'll just say return expiration. Is expiration not equal to null, and also the expiration is not before anything before today. It should not be anything, that date should not be anything less than today's date, which is the current date. So if that's true, then the token will have been expired. Yeah, so inside here we'll now use this token expired. We now have our is token valid. So token is valid if it's not expired. So very good, now we are having that. So let us see. So back to our authentication filter. So back to our filter, we are now where we were checking if the user email dot has a valid token. So we just go back there and check if this has a valid token, of which if token is valid, we needed to pass it the token and also pass it the user details, and the user details of which wait a minute. So here first thing that we are supposed to check is first if the user email is not null. That's the first thing we need to check, and also together with that we need to check if the authentication also is not null. The authentication is null also. So these two. So first we check if the context is not set and the email is set. Then if that's true, then we'll just say user details, which is user details is equals to this dot user details service. So in here we'll need to find the user details service. The user details service from Spring Security, the user details service. But then this one you need to import it. So let's first import it. Let's just say here where we had our JWT service, and just say private inode user detail service from Spring Security detail service. Inject this one via constructor injection, and then come here and just say this dot user detail service dot. What do you want to get from there? So we just say that dot load username, or the load user by username, and then username is the user email that we already have. And then finally what we need to do is to check also if JWT service dot token is valid. So is token valid, we pass JWT, and then we pass also the user details, and then once we pass that, then we can go and say username password authentication token is equals to auth token is equals to new username password authentication token. And this one we'll want to do we'll pass the user detail, then pass the credential as null, or rather null credential, and then say user details dot get authorities. Just the basic way of doing it. And then now here we'll just say auth as token dot set details of this as new web authentication. So web authentication data source detail web authentication detail source, then dot I need to build the details, and then I'll pick the request. So that one for me, that is that will set the details. And then finally here we just say security context holder dot get context, and then dot set authentication, then auth token. So we'll automatically have set now our user, or rather the authenticated user on the security context. So that's it over there. And then finally we need to return something. Remember, this function started from here, so we finally after that we need to return, because we are doing the filter do filter internal. That was our initial class, or rather our function, and I'll put this one as capital. So do filter internal. So finally we need to return something. So this is where now we want to do the filter. So I'll just say filter not there at the end of this. I'll just say in here after this, I'll just say filter filter chain dot do filter request and then response. So expecting request and response, and then out of here now we need to do some caching, because that one was try. Remember, this one was try if I'm not wrong. So throws, and then so we need to so we need this try. So catch, this one should be here, and then this filter should be inside here. After this is where now we are having the filter, and then we are catching exception. Catch this exception, then let's call it exception, and inside here we say handle exception resolver dot resolve exception. Then we have the request and the response, and then we have null and exception here. This one should be able to handle our exception. So up to that, there we go. Let's now try to run our service and see if everything is working as expected. So I'll just try to run my app again, or rather rerun from here, and just observe till some bugs here. But let me reduce this to see the size. So security filter. So we're having an error here. The pattern must start with hash. So this was our problem. We had this, so we can just put a slash here and then rerun. We still have another error here. Let me just reduce it a bit to see. This filter is null.